So now that we've talked about 2016, what are you seeing for 2017?
In some ways, it's more of the same, but I think we've learned a lot, and we have the opportunity to help buyers and to help sellers in a way on how to navigate all this craziness.
Yeah, stuff.
It's because our job has always been managing expectations, right?
Yep.
Here's what you know is going to happen. When you enter into this process, you're going to encounter these milestones and these difficulties and these hurdles. And somehow when you know in advance
Proactive rather than reactive.
that it's going to happen, then
Yep.
when it happens, it's not so bad. So somehow it's not so bad. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, but I think we need to get more specific. I think we need to get into the weeds a little bit here because right now, I mean, everything that you're talking about is kind of at a 30,000 foot level. But if I'm either going to buy or sell a house in 2017,
So
I think there's some specific things that I need to be looking for.
Okay, so you're a buyer.
Okay, I'm a buyer. First thing is that I need to you used to be able to hire your mom's brother's hairdresser as your lender or as your, yeah, and I'm looking at you.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah, that is not a good idea. And whether it be for your lender or whether it be for your real estate professional, you just cannot do that because if you do, you are in for some significant disappointment.
The
And-
market's
and-
moving too fast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and especially if you're in a sector that is, a part of town and a price sector that is maybe entry level. You have to be really fast, really prepared, pre-approved, guns loaded, locked and ready. And I don't think it's a good idea to waive inspections and to get all
No.
crazy like that.
No.
Be a sensible buyer, but have some professional advice
That's
and
where,
guidance.
and I think you just mentioned something which I really think is important, which is you talked about an entry level market based on the area that you're going into.
Right.
And in Pierce County in particular, I mean that entry level market could be 150,000, it could be 250,000, it could be 350,000,
Yeah.
and as you know, in our Gig Harbor area, it could be 400,000.
Right.
And
So,
so,
so knowing how you fit in and having
Yes.
having that professional
yeah.
realtor broker tell you, how do I fit in? What should I expect? Can I talk about sales ratios? I mean, to me, it's a little techie,
Actually-
but it's how I measure a market. It tells you how many buyers you're competing with. It's nice to know before you enter the playing field.
So if I'm a buyer, I mean, what I'm hearing you say is, number one, I probably want to know what the ratios are when I go to buy there. And I need to pick up my team, and my team being the realtor and the lender, because we all kind of come together not only on, what the price needs to be, but, what sort of financing do I need to do? The options are endless for
Right.
lending.
Well, and the buyer, you choose your lender, and you get fully pre-approved. Because you can get a quick approval, desktop underwriting snapshot. Yeah, it looks like you're good, and it doesn't mean anything when it comes down to really being able to fund that loan. You've got to go through full written underwriting.
So I'd like to take just a moment to talk about why this is important.
Please.
So let's say, hypothetically, that you have your dream house that you have purchased, Michael, and you're very excited about this dream house.
I have it under contract? Or
Absolutely.
I
No, you
found
have it under contract,
Okay.
and you win it under contract at 45 days. And your lender, who is your mother-in-law's brother's boyfriend, didn't get the transaction closed in time.
Now what?
Oh, well, actually, I'm so glad you asked. Now what is, there were multiple offers on that
There's
property.
a backup buyer.
And there was a backup buyer,
I
and
see
now
where you're
you're
going.
out because that seller did not have to extend that, which means your dream home is now someone else's dream home.
This is bad.
So when we talk about how important it is to have a team, it's really important to have a team
yeah, it's
that you can count on.
because it's a competitive market. I think
Completely.
that's
Yeah.
that's not going to change in 2017.
I can't tell you how excited I am for 2017. So in 2017, who you hire, I think, is going to be more important than ever. I already mentioned that the market's going to be giant. I think, the cover's going to come off the ball, but it's so critical to remember that is how your property is presented, how your property is marketed, and how your property is represented makes a giant
Okay,
difference.
and we talked about a buyer's agent knowing in advance what kind of market they're going to take you into.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing with the seller's agent, right?
Only more so.
Yeah.
Because it's their money.
What are the sales ratios?
Yep.
What kind of pool of water am I about to step into? Is it hot? Is it cold? What price sector am I in? Where does this house fit? Should we expect it to sell really quickly? Should we expect it to sell?
Okay, so when we're talking about, I mean, the market time, how do you evaluate something like that?
There's a lot of ways to do it. I think the best thing, well, we have reports that we run in the company, as you well know, from For Sale to Sold document that shows 70% of the houses in Pierce County are selling in 7 days. And
Also,
then
I don't leave my house on for 2 months to see
if your
anybody's
house
gonna
is
buy it.
on more than 7 days or 2 weeks, or it's time to evaluate. And so that was true in 2016. It's really going to be true in 2017 again.
Very, oh, totally.
Okay? Because the other remaining 30% of the houses took over 100 days.
See, now here's the interesting thing which I want to point out. Those of you that are buyers, I'm just doing a little ADD section here, which is those of you that are buyers and you see a house that's been on the market for 90 days, are you going to offer them full price? That's what I want you to ask yourself. If you're a seller, do you want to be on 90 days? No. Case in point.
Right. And the buyers are smart. Buyers have hired, hopefully, good brokers. Buyers have lots of information at their fingertips.
Way more sophisticated.
They've looked at photo galleries of a bazillion houses, and so when they see one that they think is a good buy, they usually act on it quickly. When they see one that they know is overpriced, they choose to wait.
Correct.
But there's more to that story because it's a price sector thing too. If 70% of the houses are selling in 7 days, but you start to break it down between high-end, low-end, median-priced homes, you're going to find that those numbers vary even more. And I'm coming back to the sales ratio. So as a seller, knowing what kind of market you're entering into is invaluable. So I've always used the term ventilate the house in the marketplace. You'll know whether or not you're going to look at offers immediately or if you're going to look at offers on a certain day. These are all strategies that you work out with your broker. But the key thing is if you have your good data, believe it and follow your plan. If you're on the market for 60 days, something's wrong. That's
Agreed.
not going to change.